Welcome, Mr. Sarkar. How would you describe your journey in Prasar Bharati so far?
Anil started by saying that he is here because of his love. I am here because of my fear of this guy. I've been around for about 4 years, 4 years plus, and I have been sort of telling him every time that I would make it, I'd never made it. So I'm here just for a day and I'll hit home at around 1 o'clock today. But before you start your questions, let me permit you, if you just permit me, I try to give a recap of what, you see, Prasar Bharati came to me when I was retiring as Secretary to the Government of India. It came to me for no fault of mine. It came to me because I had already done 37 years in administration. And somebody thought that we needed somebody who knew his way around. It's a tough journey, learning once again at 60, and is rather difficult. Because between 50 and 60, when you were running the policies of the Government of India, you could be shallow. You just needed to know what was needed to be known, that's all. In other words, there was so much information you needed to churn out that part that would fit into some sort of a jigsaw puzzle and move on. Pressures were high. But here was one sector that required a lot of learning. I'm glad I came here, but at the end of it, this is not an autobiography. I'll tell you what I have seen, and I'll give you the big picture because I have no vested interest, none whatsoever. The first thing is, okay, start with a sad story of how I saw Prasar Bharati guys sticking on to terrestrial TV. I mean, they were just expanding and expanding as if there was no tomorrow. It was a tough battle to tell them that analog terrestrial is gone. No one believed. My jokes were at that time that just because you guys know how to build narrow gauge railways, you go on extending narrow gauge. The whole world's gone over to broad gauge. But then this happens to an organization where I don't blame the guys, I just blame the system. Anyway, so when we looked around and when we found that these 1,400 towers standing all over India are going to be a strain on you. You have paid for them, you can't sort of scrap them up. We turned it around and saw where you see an advantage. And I'll tell you the advantage later on because you guys need to be careful about that sleeping giant. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to wake up, but it is a potential. It's been an internationally proven potential. Then you come to other aspects. Basically, having dealt with government, I know that there are certain attitudinal issues, certain confirmed beliefs that I know everything. Everyone else is a client. And that sort of a thing doesn't happen in business. So let's get on to the first part of the story. I've seen, and all of us have seen, how we are all gravitating towards the next stage of content delivery. That's a big point we are mentioning. Anil spoke about some sort of an equilibrium between the cable operators, the broadcasters, and others in reaching content. I know it's all that all of us want. Where did we start? We started from the time when there were local cable operators, as we call it in Sarkari language, LCOs, you call them cable ops. There were all sorts of guys. There are still all sorts of guys who got their licenses with a lot of effort and were indulging in practices that that most of us wouldn't do. So that's a short point. So I was then in INB, so the broadcasters kept on saying that we need a fair deal. We started it on, digital cable, digitization is on. But digitization, I am not in INB. I am in fact at an arm's length from them. I'm not sure how much of it is done, but let me give you one fact. You will never get 100% ASO until the terrestrial gets off. Even if the terrestrial is stuck at 5%, 4%, until that is digitized or shut down or taken care of, you still get 96%, 95% digital. That's what I've been trying to tell them. So let's take a quick call on this, and because all countries that have moved on to 100% digital or complete analog switchover have done so through these four streams. Dish is ipso facto digital. Cable is becoming digital. What it's on the ground, I do not know. He's saying 50%, somebody is saying 60%, government is saying this and this. Ultimately, it has to come up with it. 2 years or 4 years, there have been cases, court cases and others, roadblocks. Why do these happen? You all guys know it, why it happens. The moment we have total digitization, the terms of trade between the three operators change. The broadcasters and the MSOs get an upper hand. In fact, they get an upper hand and these guys get a lower hand. So they'll obviously fight it out. It's part of the system. It affects others who run public channels, 4 hours, 6 hours, farmer channels, etc., because they get knocked off from the bundle. They get knocked off. So we've got to take care of that. I mean, how do we do that? Otherwise, you can't have a farmer's channel in most places running 24 hours, but you do need a channel of that sort. So we need to take care of what we call the part-time channels. Where this, these towers are swinging on, and they shall do so, there's no question of not doing, is that they have to come up on DTT mode. Digital terrestrial transmission. From analog terrestrial transmission, they have to turn to DTT. The question is, do we need 1400 towers for DTT? Answer is no, we don't. We know by now through digital signals which are the areas where DTT operates. Sorry, whether terrestrial is still picked up. The difference between ATT, analog terrestrial transmission, and digital terrestrial transmission is heaven and hell. I'll tell you why. ATT, analog, offers only 2 channels. Whether you like it or not, you see DD National and DD News, that's all. Digital terrestrial, on the other hand, can offer you any number of channels. I was in Spain, I saw about 400 channels coming on digital terrestrial. You have a set-top box. It's the other mode of delivery other than dish and cable. It operates on the broadcast bandwidth. So for those who are on this other side of the industry like me, I'll place it like this. Till about 700 megahertz and above is in the realm of telecom. Telecom hasn't reached 700, but soon will. So between 700 and 2400, 700 and 2200, save and accept gaps here and there, it's all going into telecom bay. It's all on auctionable basis. What happens below 700? I'm putting in round numbers because these guys have in multiples of 8. Till 700 was Prasar Bharati property. About 4 years ago, 650 to 700 was handed over to defense. It's actually 648 to 696. That was handed over. So 650 backwards, say up to 450, that's 200 rich megahertz, belongs right now to the Ministry of INB and Prasar Bharati. The engineers will tell you it's one of the richest, rich in the sense of low power, high delivery, efficiency, per unit efficiency. Now, why is this not being released? Whatever's released in the market is a bit expensive, so there's market, market discovery is going on. B, there's no tearing urgency to come in here. C, all over the world, this part has been reserved for broadcasting. Now, every guy knows that of the 3 methods of using spectrum, data, audiovisual, data, telecom, and broadcasting. Broadcasting is the least paying. But all nations need it. It's like saying that just because the railways don't break even, we shut them down. You can't do it. Just because Post offices don't work, you just don't break it. Just because all the roads don't make sense, you just don't shut them up. So broadcasting is a major necessity, and all the world over we have accepted it, and under the WTO's plan, the World Frequency Allocation Plan, this one was kept. Now what's of interest to us? The interest to us is that what the hell is DD going to do about it? What is Prasar Bharati going to do about it? A, keep quiet. Well, none of you know. Just keep quiet and sit over a gold mine. B, because you have a compulsion to switch over, you have to switch over. Everybody's going digital, so you can't go on extending analog. So let's do something about it. So once you turn digital, now the question is, do you need all the 220 odd spectrum? Well, let's evaluate. Our boys say they need all of it. There are others who say you don't need all of it. As a neutral guy, I'd say let it be examined properly. So that's one. Number two, supposing DD or Prasar Bharati uses it, what does it use it for? I'll tell you what it uses it for. When you talk of streaming into the handheld smartphones, you got something coming. What is the capacity of streaming? At how much do you do it? Many of you here are OTT players or familiar with OTT, and the OTT all over the world is known. OTT is using the conventional, what you call the telecom spectrum. There are issues between the so-called owners, primary users, and secondary users. We're not getting into that. This one has a capacity, the DD bandwidth has a capacity to go in directly. It's gone in directly, as I just told you from the rest of Europe, it's gone in directly. Gone in directly straight into the home TV, the fixed TV, the linear TV. I'm not interested about it. I'll tell you why I'm not interested. You have two mature economies running here. You have the dish TV and you have the digital, the cable TV. So I do enter a new player who has to build up his own market. Just forget about it. That's why I'm not interested. I mean, as a policymaker, I would say I'm not interested. Now, what am I interested in? Somebody's written 500 million smartphones. I think that's an exaggeration. I keep track almost on a monthly and weekly basis, almost as bad as businessmen. So I keep track, and I think it's around 250. 250 would be a smart figure. The try figures are far lower, but 250 is a good figure. But 250 million smartphones, God, that's quite a big number. And not one gets live feed. Not one gets live feed.
Yeah, so are you proposing the DVB-T2 dongles?
So I am talking of live feed. So which way you come up is our business. So DVB-T2, which is the other name for DTT, because we use DVB as a mother technology. So it's for cable, it's DVB-C. For satellite, it's DVB-S. For terrestrial, it's DVB-T. That's all. Our mother technology is DVB. So DVB-T2, which has been on the engineering lingo for quite some time, actually means digital terrestrial. What it actually turns out is, let's use this dormant energy and let's stream. How do you see live programs here? I'm asking my fellow Indians, how do you see them? Well, you see canned programs, YouTube. You see some of it, some NDTV News or others coming in. That's coming on the telecom bandwidth. So what's wrong? I can see it pretty clear. I'll tell you what's wrong. If you've gone to a stadium and you've seen a winning match, or you've come to a crowded station and you want to make a call, all calls are jammed out. That means the bandwidth is conked out. The complete call drop. The moment there's good traffic on the telecom bandwidth of streaming, you block out. The telecom bandwidth is not meant for audiovisual broadcast. Got it? What is a broadcast? What is the bandwidth meant for audiovisual broadcast? Straight to the smartphone. The broadcasting medium, or the road, the highway meant for it, is this that I'm talking about. What are we doing about it? Listen, as I said, I spent more than 4.5 years and I'm tired. I've already said I'm going to go. I've tried convincing them, but then as I keep saying, it has to be a consensus of a national type. It can't be one department thinking in isolation. Too long have we gone on doing it. So here is what I'm suggesting. Right now, we have four, we means I'm talking on behalf of DD. It will be past. We had, I'll say, next year. DD has 4 towers in the 4 metros, 4 big metros, 2 small metros are out now. 4 towers that carry 2 antenna. Each antenna replaces one former antenna, analog antenna, so it can show you 10 TV channels in lieu of 1. So DD National's antenna shows you 10 channels, okay? DD News's antenna shows you 10 more channels. So there are 20 channels, 20 channel width, 20 channel roads, capacities, platforms, going from Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, and Chennai. What's happening? No users. No users. Why no users? Well, there are smartphones, there's a transmitting base. There are smartphones around. In these 4 towns, you can calculate the number of smartphones, there should be around 50 to 60 million. And there are these 4 towers, and government is paying for it, and they're bubbling in, they are spending electricity. Why? No. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect, and let's not sort of take this to be a major sort of this thing. These sort of things happen in mega planning. You've seen flyovers landing, and you've seen the last end not being tied up. You've seen the last end tied up, but you haven't seen the circles going in. So which means that the moment you cross the flyover, get into a bigger jam. So these are policy constraints, and that's my duty to
But are you moving with DVB-T to the mobile dongles? Is there a consensus?
There, our board resolution is very clear. It's a question of knocking and getting it done.
Okay.
It's a question of knocking and getting it done. That means in addition to the 4G, which is one highway that OTT and others can use, there is this additional way. And given a chance, we would give it free for the first 1 year. Come up, use it, show it how it can be used. I'll tell you, the plan that I had wanted to do before December, before I left, or before November, is that since you have 20 channel width coming in and 20 channels can be received, what is the last mile then? There are no DVB-T2 enabled phones unless somebody has got it from something. So all you put is a dongle. And dongles aren't great. I mean, I've checked it up. We could get dongles if you ordered in mass scale at $8 a dongle. $8 a dongle comes in with the user. So once you put the dongle, you get 20 channels in Mumbai in the 4 caps. In addition, there are 22 other stations. Yeah, I'm an old man, I can't remember figures. Maybe 20 other stations in India where they're supplying 10 channels every day. It goes up, it goes down, because there's no end user. So there is one prospect where I feel the industry should sort of get together, because it's an alternate delivery platform. It's an alternate delivery platform that's internationally tested.
Yeah. For that, you'll also have
to... this part I'll leave it here, because I thought I need to sort of relate to you guys. You come up with the next question.
Yeah, my next question is...
Have I got you guys? I mean, have I got you, or are there any questions? See, you have been concentrating, we have been all concentrating on digital cable. So that is an end nut to itself. It will pick up its own speed at its own Mera Desh Mahan speed. It will pick up. It will happen. There's no doubt about it. It's a question of time lags here and there. Satellite is ipso facto, Dish TV is ipso facto digital. So the 2 major sectors are covered. The third sector we were talking of is a big guy analog, or rather terrestrial, that is to occupy 25%, 15%, I mean, it started 100%, then crashed down to something 10, and now my honest guess is it's around 5. But until this 5 is digitized, you don't get it. So in the process of digitizing, and if you come up with only selective, selective town-based, urban-based DTT, DVB-T.
Yeah, but that's a consultation paper TRI has actually recently
TRI has finally got into the act. By the time it'll get into the act. So what I'm saying is, keep your ears open, mark up the technology in other countries, see how they have done it, because that's an opportunity knocking.
Okay, now coming back to another question. What ails DD? DD, can it ever get right? Because in terms of what is the role of DD? Is it a public service broadcaster like in other countries? Does it restrict itself to that? Why does it try to be commercial? Why doesn't the government fund it all the time? What's the intent? I mean, at the end of the day, is public service being, kind of forsaken for commerce? Let the government fund it and let you all do the public service. Let the private broadcasters do commercial broadcasting. I mean, why try to be a BBC when you can't be a BBC?
He's fired off too many questions, hoping I forget some of them.
Whatever you can answer.
I'll tell you whatever I can remember. There are too many questions pumped in. Imagine my frustration, he's saying as an outsider and getting away with it. Imagine my frustration being within the organization and with some amount of allowable common sense. Let's get to the figures. BBC gets 3,500 crores every year from the citizen.
So why can't we move in that direction?
I'll tell you. Yeah. Sorry, my mistake. It's there in America. They're getting 35,000 crores. My mistake. I mean, sorry, my zeros keep puzzling me. I've got the figures for Germany. These nations have made up their mind, NHK, that's Japan, they've made up their mind, this is what they want the public broadcaster to do, and this is what you want to do. We are yet to decide what you want to do. So that's it, and I don't decide for the nation. I'm just Jawahar Sarkar, I'm not Bharat Sarkar. So I'm very clear about that. I have just played my role. I've been articulate, I've been troublesome, but I'll tell you what my mind is, that's all. So I have said what I felt is correct. I don't need the job. I've been telling from day one. It's just a shot. B, the question is, who is lost? That's a big question you're asking. I've reduced it to a small question. A little girl was walking with a teddy bear in the airport. So the hostess comes over, the stewardess comes over and asks her, little girl, are you lost? She looks up, said, no, I'm not lost, my parents are. It's a question of which way you view. Who's lost? Whether I'm lost or whether my parents are, I don't know. I don't know. The question is, there's some disconnect. So I've been saying time and again that we need to take a formulation. If you want a public broadcaster, you got to pay for it. Pay in what sense? Pay DD to make programs. God forbid. I'll resign retrospectively. I'm very clear in my mind. I'll make very clear in my mind. It's not for DD to make programs. Content can be made by people who understand content, present day content. DD's main role, or Prasar Bharati's main role, that includes Akashvani, and the way I figure it, I'm not at all popular, and I'm glad about it, is that our main strength was as a platform. People who know DD remember Ramayana, Mahabharat, Nukkad, Bunyad, Aaj Tak. They were not made by DD. Be miles away from it. Can you imagine Ram walking? So it didn't happen there. You offered a platform, you offered a best choice method, and you find good guys coming over and making little bread out of it. The guy is not there for charity. He's not, the guys who come over there are not for charity. They're not Ramakrishna missions. They are there for a purpose, and they put out quality stuff in a competitive market, and you got the best. All of a sudden, in 2003, you decided you know everything about content. So you shut them off, threw them out. I'm putting on record, you threw them out. I know what I'm talking about as head of the organization. You threw them out, you fixed them up in cases. Then what do you do next? You hire guys and tell them how content is to be made. We leave the story there. We're going in for slot sale, and there's no force on earth that can stop slot sale. There's no force on earth that can stop slot sale. Slot sale simply means we go back to the old auction period. We ask the guy who's making the production, put in a little risk into it, think long term. At the end of the tunnel, you win because our capacity to come up with viewership is still fantastic. How do I prove it? After failing so badly in the last few months, open up cricket. Open up cricket and you see the shooting up. That means you have good content, you get it all over. You shoot up to number 2, you shoot up to number 3. So you have a good content and you go there. It's pretty. So the question is, A, do you want a public broadcaster of the international variety? In that case, you've got to think DD plus something. It's got to be a public body. It can't be a body of people who were recruited once upon a time. Sorry. B, if your purpose is to be there with this infrastructure and be of current use to the nation, I would say go in for DVB-T2, digital terrestrial, go in for other offer of your infrastructure. The infrastructure belongs to the nation. You know, once I was in charge of culture, thanks. And my biggest argument with the archaeology guys, nice guys working hard, biggest argument was they thought they owned the Qutub Minar. They owned the Taj Mahal. I said, oh, we are only caretakers. This is one Sarkari disease that happens. You think you own it. So here again, we are caretakers of this resource. But this has to be agreed to by all sides. So, look, I've tried my best. I didn't do it for any purpose. You guys have got to continue after it. That's why I've come all the way and going back in a past midnight flight. So, resource sharing, platform sharing, infrastructure sharing is one domain. B, get out of content as of yesterday. C, you have legacy knowledge. You have legacy width. You have historic.
This is what you're telling your people, your teams inside.
So I'm telling my insiders that you have a historic first start advantage. People haven't sort of wished you out. They look at you like an ambassador car, but that's different. But some people are.
But are you winning any wars over there? Or you've thrown your hands up and you're saying, I'm going now?
No. See, my tenure ends in end of February. I'm an old man, as I said. I want to go. I mean, enough is.
So is it in good hands
That's
now?
because no problem.
But is it in good hands to take it further now? You've got a new DDDG.
I'm not a prophet. I mean, I'm sure the nation will find someone. The question is he going to push files or is he going to try to understand at an old age what exactly is to be done? That's all. Because, as I said, you are here, basically, you guys are all here.
But are the policymakers understanding this, or is DD another beast which has to be kept aside? Let it go, let it kind of, vanish over time.
See, I have seen various regimes, and I have seen various packages that come with them, various mentalities. At the end of the day, I would still put it that the advisor, administrator, has a role to play. So he needs to get converted first. If you take the Bible, you'll see that before Jesus came, you had John the Baptist. You have to start baptizing first.
So are you John the Baptist?
Me? I'm going to be retired. I bought a rocking chair.
Okay.
I know my stuff. I'm going to enjoy reading you guys. I'm going to find out what's happening on this front and that front. I can't lose my interest. I spent 5 of the best years of my life here.
Okay, coming back to Free Dish, because I have to get on the call with Mr. Gupta very shortly. In terms, and also DD's viewership, when BARC rural data came up, DD's viewership spiked. Now it's nowhere on the radar. And finally on Free Dish, you're expanding capacity. What is the way forward? You asked for STB tenders has been floated recently. So, Free Dish, the way forward, and BARC's viewers and BARC's data showing that DD is not really working.
Okay. Who set up BARC? We set up BARC. Why did we set up BARC? Obviously because you want a neutral umpire. Have I ever come out against BARC? Never. We had to set up BARC to have an industry body. All over the world, that's what's done. Now, BARC's present results are a reflection. No sample study can ever tell you the deepest truth. But you have to go by what you call rule of thumb results. Within the organization, there's a lot of heartburn that the coverage of L1, that is 1 lakh minus towns, is not proportionate. We were there during the samples survey. We were there during the baseline survey. So if you've got to come up with points, you've got to marshal your facts. I'm open to it because BARC is open and I can sort of tell BARC properly. The question is it a wake-up call? The answer is yes, it's a wake-up call. How did it happen? It happened through what we call an antithesis. It happened, these sort of things are funny. The extension of the Free Dish became antithetical to DD. I'll explain why. DD started with 33 channels on the free dish. It was then known as DD Direct Plus. This depends on the capacity of the satellite and depends on earth connectivity. It depends on a lot of other factors, but basically satellite capacity. INSAT 4B had its limitation. Today is the 30th of September. Today, early in the morning, we switched off for 5 hours. If you read the news, you'll see. We switched off free dish for 5 hours because we were doing some technical transfers. DD's free dish has a planned capacity to go up to 250. Okay. We debottlenecked our capacities last year and brought it to 80. 80 is the maximum that you can reach under the present technology. The present set-top box can get you 80, reception of 80. We are all working on MPEG 2.
So you're looking at MPEG 4 now.
So MPEG 4 has to come into the market. MPEG 4 has been seeded. Now there comes in another guy into the game and he hogs a lot of limelight. It's a question, I'm not very sure whether it was done, but it was signed and sealed and delivered before I came, so I didn't want to be too much of a bull in a china shop. And this is ICAS or DAS. Without an ICAS or without a conditional accept system or a DAS within your set-top box, you don't know how many viewers you have. So they said that when we are switching from MPEG 2 to MPEG 4, why don't we put a DAS? Why don't you put a chip? Big fun, big idea. I had to let it go. That delayed us by 2 years. 2 years to get that DAS because we have to get our own custom DAS. Every customer, every other DAS operator, every other STB operator has his own DAS.
Or CAS.
Or CAS, okay? Now there are only 6 producers, 5 producers in the world who dominate the market. So you've got to go to one of them. And this sort of thing happened, we lost 2 years. Frankly, in hindsight, I think we could have gone ahead without CAS. I'll tell you why. The market estimate of the market is far better than CAS. Now let's follow what the market says now. I'm not sure about the last figure. When I was following the dish operators were saying they have crossed 75 million.
55 active. 52,
Hang
55.
on. So when I started, I found they were talking of 55 million then. I'm talking 5 years ago. And they're saying we can't find 25 million. That same game continues. If you have 50 to 55 million active customers, you don't have any track of 30 million customers who came in and went. You check up your figures and prove it. So what happened to the 30 million? What happened to the 30 million? The 30 million simply switched off, either switched off totally or switched off to free dish. I'll tell you why. Free dish never came with an antenna. So it's somebody else's antenna. If the companies check up how many antennas they have sold and how many active customers they have, the arithmetic comes out very easily because the antennas. In addition to the company antennas, branded company antennas, there are local antenna manufacturers. Now, the broadcasters who put their money where their mouth is have calculated, and from 1 crore, 1.5 crores auction fee, I was just opening my figures in the black bag, is reached 5.5 crores. One who are 5.5 crores? Anmol, Rishte and others. They've come in for 5.5 crores, which is quite a lot of money for a 1 year channel cost because you've got to cover that up in your profit baseline. Now, the confidence of giving you 5.5 crores for a channel, for a slot among the 80, is itself an indication of what they have. Got it? So, where free dish is concerned, it's win-win. Free dish will go up. The debottlenecking has taken place. Now, at between 80 and 110, between 80 and 150, between 80 and 250, it's a question of getting an MPEG 4 in the market. That's all. It's been debottlenecked. So, I don't know why we are stopping at 120. From 80, we can go up to 200 if you want. All you need is SAT capacity of the new one, that is GSAT 15. So you can get it done. I mean, it's not an impossible task. That's one of the things. But the fact that you have put the free-to-air channels and every guy is coming on the free-to-air version means that you have called your own competition. So you wake up. you wake up.
And you get better content. And thank you very much,
Go
sir,
ahead.
for being a part
Thanks.
of it. Let's give him a round of applause. He's been pretty
Thanks a
forthright
lot.
and pretty
Thanks a lot.
open in his opinions. Thank you very much, sir.